All right, so I am here with the one, the only Michael Sue of Deep Sky, of also the CFO Club, which we are going to get into. But for now, I wanted to have an open and free conversation with someone that I've known for quite a number of years. And Michael, I've watched your evolution in the accounting
Yep.
space, and you were already kind of jumping in with both feet with the creation of Deep Sky and this whole idea of outsourced accounting when, back in whatever 2009,
10.
2010, it really was just not a thing that you heard about very
Yeah.
much. When you heard the term outsourcing, you immediately thought, this is work that's going overseas. It's going, to somebody else and not you, the accountant. And that has evolved. It's become a lot more accepted, I think, particularly among growing CPA firms. They embrace this work. Some have even evolved it into what we know today as, client advisory services, or CAS. Now,
Hmm.
those initials obviously can kind of get jumbled up depending who you talk to. Some people call it client accounting services, your basic, your bookkeeping, your write-up, just, things that a lot of CPAs and a lot of accountants and bookkeepers already do. This is a bit deeper. This CAS has become popular, from my view, and we'll get into what your views are, but from my view, because it is an evolution. It's not same old, same old. It feeds right to, evolving business needs. As companies grow, they would like to have someone in their corner that's, advising them, steering them, working with them as both a coach and a partner on their own growth. And for the accounting firm, if you actually see yourself as a business, treat your firm as a business, you really do see, and the numbers are there to show you, pretty high revenue potential. The problem is, and this is what we're going to jump into today, there hasn't been a real clear roadmap. You get a lot of narrative coming from the vendor community, from, state and national societies, from a lot of corners of the accounting universe, but not as much on the, great, you've been talking to me about CAS for what seems like years now. But how does one actually get started successfully in this space? Because it seems the start for a lot of folks starts with the numbers, the revenue potential, the potential of what this can be, right? So this is
Yep.
something from our conversations together that CFO Club helps you to do. The real tenets, the core tenets of looking at your firm as a business, and with an eye towards CAS services being at the center of that and really doing it the right way. So let's jump in, Michael. Quick background about yourself for the folks who
Yeah.
don't know you as I do.
So yeah, so you mentioned it's actually amazing that walk down memory lanes when you mentioned that
All
you
right.
got I would say you were one of the catalysts. You were one of the first person I kick started my career,
Well,
right?
thank you. I just was an editor in the space, and it was our job to kind of
Yeah.
identify, it's back when I
Yeah.
was at Accounting Today, it was our job to kind of identify different trends and different firms and individuals who were doing something that were, that was
Yeah.
not on the same path as other folks.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was incredible. I remember the article, I remember the title, Firm of the Future, right? Tech savvy accountancy. And we are in the future, 14 years into the
Here we
future, in
are. We're
fact.
here. We made it.
Um, 14 years. That is incredible. And
Mhm.
and so the background is this. The truth is I've always been an entrepreneur and not so much an accountant. I was trained as an accountant,
Mhm.
undergrad in
You got your
accounting,
CPA and
got my
yeah.
CPA, did all that. The interesting thing is I left and I sort of fell into outsource accounting, outsource bookkeeping by happenstance. The point was I wanted to start a business. I didn't have any money, and service company was the easiest way to start,
Yeah.
right? So I started an outsource accounting company. The original plan was to make enough money to start a real business, right? But then what happened was as I got involved, I realized most entrepreneurs are terrible people when it comes to numbers and financial literacy. Not
Right.
what they
They're
know.
big idea people. They're not, and that's why you hire a CPA or someone, a CAS-minded
Yeah,
firm to go, all right, look, I need you to guide me. I need you
yeah,
to work with me
yeah,
on
yeah,
getting my
exactly.
vision
Yeah.
achieved.
There are two types of entrepreneurs. Most entrepreneurs, right? Doing a big generalization here, but most entrepreneurs are either amazing salespeople or amazing craftsmen, artists, people who that amazing cook starting a restaurant, right? An accountant starting a CPA firm, right? They're amazing at their craft. Very few of them are some of them are both. They're amazing at their craft and they're great at selling. Very few of them are great financial people. And I think that's what sort of, if we fast forward, if we could, look into the future from 14 years ago today, 14 years ago, or today, we can go back and connect the dots. That's what sort of accelerated, that sort of carved this path from
Right.
outsource bookkeeping, outsource accounting, outsource controllership, outsource CFO-ship, and then business advisory, and then management consulting,
Right.
right? And what is client advisory service? To me, it's management consulting.
Right.
Accounting is fantastic. Bookkeeping is
Yeah.
fantastic. It's the
Starting with the
foundation of every.
financials, starting with the books, and then building.
Yep.
Yes.
But the goal is to understand the business
Mhm.
so that we know what to do. At Deep Sky Measure and Hack was and the CFO Club, those are the brands that I have. We have this one saying, which is, what would you do differently if you knew? And when we say that, we meant, what if you know the numbers? What if you understand your revenue? What if you understand your profitability? What if you understand, your forecast and your cash flow? How would you differently? How would you behave differently to help you get to your goals faster? And I
Right.
think that one sentence sums up the entire ethos of Measure and Hack CFO Club, Deep
Yeah.
Sky, or client advisory service as a whole.
Tell us about CFO Club. I think there's other sort of, I've seen some other titles similar to that sort of floating around out there, but you started CFO Club, you're part of that. What is it? What's the focus at this point? And then I think we're going to get into our topic today too. But obviously CFO
Yeah,
Club plays a role in what we're going to talk about.
huge, huge. CFO Club is my third and latest project in my entrepreneur journey. It's actually my
Yeah.
primary focus for the last,
Right.
year
This
and
is
this year.
for CPAs
It's for CPAs and accountants. It's for
and accountants.
CPAs and accountants.
Hmm.
Yeah. And what it is I've realized in my career and through happenstance that CPAs and accountants are in this unique position to create tremendous value to CEOs and entrepreneurs by providing them with insights and knowledge and financial literacy, right? Yet we don't really take advantage of that,
Right.
right? And we're seeing it in the industry right now. People, young kids are not less people are graduating with an accounting degree. More people are living with a profession because of X, Y, and Z. And and accountants, year after year, it's like Sally, right? Same as last year. They're being burnt out, they're tired, they're
Yeah.
exhausted, they are filing tax return, they're feeling underappreciated or unappreciated completely, and they don't
Sure.
make enough money.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at this.
This has definitely been the public face of late. Obviously,
Yeah.
some accountants, they've sort of found their own path. But
Yeah.
this is why I think no disrespect, but the carrot of CAS and growing
Mhm.
into that kind of a practice has been out there because it's a
Yeah.
way to again really increase revenue, decrease the amount of actual time right? That
Yep.
you're spending just doing, the work. This is stuff that's,
Yep.
that you can really see. And this
Yep.
is where the numbers come in. You see 2x, 4x, 5x, and up in,
Way more. Yeah.
within, yeah, exactly, way more in just
Yeah.
a few years' time of
And,
putting
and
in the work, setting yourself up. And so
and I think
CFO
and I think
Club,
a part of
where does that fit in? Sorry.
and it's just that everybody is sitting on this gold mine and
Hmm.
nobody's tapping into it,
Hmm.
or they don't
Hmm.
know how to tap into it. But the truth is, and I say this in my classes, you're 90% of the way there. You know all of the technical SKEs, but you don't know the last 10%. You don't know what the clients are thinking about. You don't know what they need. You don't know how to even start the conversation. You don't know, what service that you got to provide or what they appreciate or how to sell that, how to put it together. And all of that is what the CFO Club is for. It's because when I started it, I had no one. There was no one to learn from. There's no one that gave
Right.
me a roadmap or anything like that. I was just kept being told, do at back then we didn't call it client advisory services. Back then we called it trusted business advisor, but it's the same thing. I was constantly told, fire your client, increase your value, increase your price, and
And you took
do
that
become a
literally,
trusted
right?
business advisor. Yeah, and I did all that, but then how? Right?
Yeah.
So my path was I had to,
Because you're
I
also
had to,
you're cutting off your revenue. You're like, wait a minute, I just fired half my
yeah,
clients. Now what?
yeah. I fired half my clients. That was like the big famous thing back then,
Right,
right? And then I
right.
looked at my payroll and I go,
Oh,
oh
it
my
still
God, I'm
is.
going
It
out of
still is.
business.
It's still being, you know,
Yeah,
taught. Well, not
yeah,
taught, but it's still being, preached about like, oh yeah, gotta,
yeah,
you don't have to work with as many clients. Okay, we get that.
yeah.
So,
But
Michael,
how?
yeah,
Right? And
exactly.
I think
How?
that's what the
Let's get into the
CFO club
how.
is.
Let's
Yeah,
get it.
that's what the CFO club is, but it's like
Yeah,
the how, right? Because I
sure.
I had to go out there. I went to school. I went to, Harvard for continuing education. I signed up for every seminar, every webinar, and I was sort of just picking stuff up. And then finally, when I was able to run Deep Sky and run it pretty successfully in the last 14 years, now what I'm doing is I'm taking everything that I've learned, right? Let's say I learned 100 things. I'm saying these 20 is what I used to help me get to where I am. And now I'm sharing that. I'm crafting that into content and classes and lessons and tools and systems and processes. And then to provide that to other CPAs and accountants and showing them, look, there is a path. And this is the path. This is the how.
Right.
That's what the C.
Here's what no one really told me. Here's what I had to learn on my own. Obviously, you had some people in your corner, other entrepreneurs, people who are driving you. You have a network, and that's
Yeah,
key, I think, in any area of accounting, business, is that you have a community and you have people who are keeping you not only motivated but accountable. So,
absolutely.
Michael, let's get into the idea of what this question of what no one is really telling you
Yeah.
about starting a CAS practice? What's the first thing that comes to mind? You're ready to
The first
go.
thing that comes,
You've got,
the
whatever. I don't know. You're ready to dive in. It's 2024. You
yeah,
really you've seen the numbers. You're a firm leader. You're ready to go. Yeah,
yeah,
we've probably already started in some ways with some
yeah,
clients already
yeah,
doing some of this.
yeah,
But
yeah. Step one of everything we love to say at the CFO Club is start where you stand, use what you have, and do what you can. That's it.
mhm.
Don't overcomplicate it, right? It's not
So
overcomplicating anything
specifically,
because
like give
yeah.
us a scenario. And
So
I know
so
that
so
you
I'll
continue to
tell a
talk to
story.
firms and yeah,
Yeah, because it's different for everybody, but I'll tell a story,
sure.
right? I have this one client, have 100 or so bookkeeping client. They're a bookkeeping firm.
Mhm.
Okay. Um, and you say, well, how do I go from bookkeeping to CFO advisory? It seems so lofty, so much, so far, right? And if
Yeah.
you go to conferences, people go, oh yeah, become a
That's not
business
why
and
they
become
came to me. I don't know. Yeah.
yeah, like become a coach. Like how do you even fathom from bookkeeping to coaching? That's crazy. I remember
Mm.
when I first heard about it, I was like, dude, the CEOs are gonna laugh you out of the room. You're gonna coach me on what?
Yeah.
But for them, this is what we did. I
Mm.
looked at what they have. Again, start where they stand, use what you have. And what they have was financials because they're bookkeepers, right? They're bookkeepers, they have financials. And I say, do your
Sure.
clients review these
And that's
financials? They
something you
say,
know, that's
absolutely
where you
not.
live. You're comfortable with that. They're
Exactly.
not. They're not. You are.
Exactly. And I say, do they look at it? And they say, no, they don't look at it because they don't have that sophistication. And he goes, should we show it to them? And I go, whoa, wait. Maybe not quite yet. Because imagine this: you have a bookkeeping company, and then your clients is have a small business, and all they want is your bookkeeping done. And then you want to go for again, start from where they are as well. You can't take them from going from zero, never looking at their financials, to here's a financial statement and then here's a cash forecast and I want all of this. They're gonna look at you like, no, I don't need that. So I
Right.
say, what do they really care about? What you know this industry, you know the business. What do they really care about? And this and their set of clients deal with insurance. And they say, you know what? One questions I always get constantly over and over again is what service have we provided? What insurance have we billed? And what has been paid or not paid? So I said, oh, so it's like an account receivable, but specific for this industry. And he goes, yes, that's exactly what it is. I say, that's fucking awesome. And he goes, what do you mean? And I say, provide that report. He says, I go, do you have that information? He says, yeah, I have that information. I say, is it hard to pull? He says, no, not absolutely not. So we pulled that information. We presented it to the client for free, right? And say, hey, just so you know, we've worked
Right.
with, 50 other of these
You
companies, and this is
created a
always a
report.
question. Is it helpful, right? And we explained what it was, and the clients absolutely loved it. And we did it again, and then we say, oh, by the way, this is an additional service that we do because we're trying to help you win in your business, and it's going to be an additional 50, like $49. Is that okay? And mind you, these bookkeeping clients are averaging very low, like $550. Okay, $550 per client. That's their average.
Hmm.
And $50, $49, $50 to
That's what
550, that's close to
they're
10.
charging their car. Okay.
That's what they're charging, their average client size, right? And then we tack on this additional service for $50. That fit, so you go, okay, $50, Michael, that's not a lot, but run that through the entire company. The firm does a little over $1.5 million, right? So 10% on $1.5 million, that's $150,000 straight to the bottom line. That's client advisory service. That is starting from where you are, using what you have. And then now you step into the world of advisory, and then you can slowly walk out. Are you a full-fledged CFO advisor? No, but who cares?
Yeah,
You
it's
you
not.
just drop.
It's something that you are able to do. So that's it sounds like the old adage of, kind of walk before you can run.
Yep.
It's not about the front face of uh like the getting rid of your clients part, half your clients part, like that doesn't tell the whole story, does it? Sure,
Hmm.
the idea, right, of CAS and on some of these higher value services is that it's not a volume business. You're not
Yeah.
charging hourly, not
Right.
necessarily, maybe on a job here or there, but by and large,
Right.
they're subscribing to you. They're paying you a
Right.
quarterly, a monthly, an annual, whatever
Right.
fee, and you don't have to work with as many
Right.
clients,
Right.
right? That's the
Right.
promise of CAS is that, you
Right.
have this. Now,
But
obviously, if
that's
you're
step
right,
10,
that's
right?
step 10.
That's step 10.
That's where you want to get to. And that's where I think some firms are kind of getting thrown off course a little bit, is that they're only seeing snapshots of
Yeah.
CAS and
You don't
not
you don't have to start. You don't have to start on
the
step
very
10.
beginning. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to start from step 10. And I think that's the
Well,
biggest thing
you're
because
missing a lot. You're missing like a foundation.
you're missing
That's what
time
we're
and money.
talking about here, is that foundation. Yes.
Yeah, and time and money because Seth,
Yes.
it was crazy because I've been going to accounting conference for the last year and a half as I'm researching this, and we
Yeah.
sit in these CAS seminars, and the people up there from big firms or from somewhere else, they say you need a dedicated staff, you need to hire additional people, you need to really commit to this, right? And the people sitting on the bottom, you know what they're saying? I can't hire enough people. I can barely do the work that's on my
Yeah.
plate. I don't have additional money to invest. How do I start?
Yeah,
But
it's
in
like,
this
oh, you got to
story,
open up this whole other store and you got to hire
yeah.
people
But
in
in
that
this
store.
story,
And yeah,
yeah. In this story, we just created $150,000, and now that give us breathing room, right? We're not popping any champagnes yet, but
yep.
hey, we got 150,000. Now maybe we
It's an
can think about
annuity.
hiring.
Yeah,
It's breathing room. You have to create. Here's the thing.
actually recurring
We,
revenue right there.
we are running a business. Nobody stops the car and gas the car or stops the car to change the tire. A business is like a race car. You're going 100 miles an hour and you're trying to swap out tires. You're trying to get gas, and that's what I'm telling. I think that's what makes fundamentally different of what the CFO Club is about and someone else, because this is how I've done it. I didn't come from a big firm. I didn't have $20 million sitting in my bank letting me hire people and build out offices, right? I bootstrapped this. My first client advisory service, my first CAS client, also was bookkeeping back then, is $50 a month. 50. That's where I started, right? $50 a month, a
And
hundred
and
bucks a
what were you
month.
able to build that to? Where did it go from there?
We did. I would say we're probably one of the most profitable client advisory services. Our average client size right now is $6,500 a month. That's the average. And profit wise, and I share this at my, I don't like sharing this because we're a private company, so we do have investors, but I did share it one
Sure.
time. At one point, we were netting 50% net profit, right?
I mean, that's,
But,
again,
but
these are the numbers
that
where
took
we
us
could
10
get you.
years.
Yeah.
That took us 10 years, right? The CFO Club doesn't promise you to do that overnight, but I'm hoping it does it for you less than 10 years, perhaps 7, perhaps 5, perhaps
Get you
3.
on the right path.
Faster, less effort, less mistakes, right? Because we've walked it, we've traveled it, and I'm hoping that someone else, because guess what? Entrepreneurs absolutely need this. They're dying. They're dying for it. I hate it when I see an entrepreneur or business come to me and I cannot help them. Either we're not a good fit personality wise, we're not a good fit geographically wise, we're not a good fit industry wise, or array of other things. I can only imagine if I have a CFO club, if I have
You can refer that
CFO
on.
advisors of all walks,
Yeah.
right? Personality, gender, belief, industry specification, geographic, and they can service everyone. That's what I want, because my passion is to help businesses, help entrepreneurs, help people create value, help people build the life that they want. And that's why I'm looking for. So people are like, why do you do the CFO club? How come if Deep Sky is so good, why don't you just keep growing? Because I can't
It's a
have a
network.
10,000 people staff. You know, that's
Yeah.
what it is.
It's a network. I mean, let's
Absolutely.
call it what it is. You're building
Yeah.
a network. And, in a network, all boats rise. Michael,
All boats rise.
before we jump off, and this has been very insightful. And again, we could, Mike and for everyone out there sort of, watching this and potentially reading this, Michael and I could talk all day
All
about
day.
a lot of this stuff. And we have. But we wanted to condense this for you to really just kind of focus on, if you're kind of struggling, if you're hearing about CAS, and maybe you kind of are starting, where you've had some fits and starts and you've been told some of these things already and it's just not really clicking, or again, you're just getting ready to jump in. What's sort of one big thing that, maybe you're told about CAS that is, I don't want to say wrong, but, can kind of set firms on the wrong path? Or
Not everybody
if you
can do
will,
CAS
like,
or should.
what should you avoid?
That's the line. Not everybody. CAS is a way to success. It's
Right.
not the only way.
But if you're going down this path,
If you're going
what's a
down,
what's a red flag? Tell me that. Going down the road, getting started, like what should you just honestly, we already sort of pointed out, like, okay, don't start from step 10. Don't start
yeah,
with the, yep, okay, go fire half your clients because you're just not, you know, no, it's not about that. Actually start working with the ones that you can see, obviously, that
yeah.
and clearly to you and your existing team
Yeah.
that you can get them going.
So that's a step two. Step two, right?
But we
Step
want to
one
know what to
is,
avoid.
yeah, step one is, so what to avoid is don't start with a product. Don't start with the product ever, because in lesson, so I have a boot camp. In lesson one of our boot camp, we talk about the CPA's paradox. All the whole hour of that class is talking about the client, who they are, what they do, what they care about, right? It's the same thing at orientation at Deep Sky. If you're a new accountant at Deep Sky, it doesn't matter if you're a staff accountant, bookkeeper, or if you're a CFO advisor. Day one, first module or first training, I can show it to you in our playbook, is nobody cares about what we do. They only care about themselves. Our
Yeah.
clients only care about themselves. And it's fascinating because I've watched this Steve Jobs video a few days ago, and it says this exact same thing. So many accountants wants to start with, I have a forecast, I have a P&L, I have a balance sheet. How can I sell this to the client? How can I do this? That's not a right. That's how everybody's thinking. That's how every accountant is thinking. So you're just gonna come out same. You're not gonna be any different. Instead, flip it around, right? So avoid starting from your product. Flip it around. Think about your client. If they went to bed frustrated last night and they called their friend, let's say Seth is my best friend, this and Michael is your client, and I say, Seth, I can't sleep. I'm so frustrated because my business is dot dot dot. Start there. So think from
Right.
your clients. Everyone has a client list. Go through your 5 favorite clients and think, if they call their best friend that night, I'm so frustrated about my business because dot dot dot. Start there. Do not start with your product. Do not think I have a forecast I'm going to
Yeah.
sell. I have a balance sheet. I
Focus
have
on the
50
pain.
years of experience. Nobody cares. That's step two. Step one, we talked about start from step one, start where you stand, right? Step two, right? Start from your client's perspective, right? And then if there's a step three, and I'm just going to throw it in there, is just be open to learning. There's so many cool people doing there's so many awesome information out there, right? It can't be the
Right.
CFO club or anything else, right? Jody's got great product, other people's got great product. Go
Right.
out
Jody
there, be a
Grinded. Yeah.
sponge, learn, absorb, and then most importantly, act. Because you can learn all day. You can learn all day. If you don't put it into practice, it's useless, right? Learn something, put it into practice, and then you're gonna suck, but that's okay. Anything worth doing, you're gonna
Yeah.
suck in the beginning,
Oh yeah.
and just keep
Yeah. Got
rinse
to
and
be all
repeat,
right with
rinse and
that.
repeat. And you get
Don't.
and then please share your success with me because I will love to hear it. I would love to hear it.
Michael, thank you for taking time out of your day. Really, your evening. I'm actually talking to Michael from Taiwan at this point. He is over
Yeah,
here in the States for some of the year. Um, Tell us before we wrap up how to get more information about CFO Club. Sounds kind of
yeah,
interesting, Michael. You've mentioned it a few times in our chat today.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
what if I want to know more information? What do I do? Where do I go?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
guys,
So
you
I'm
guys
I'm
meet
all over social
regularly? Like
media.
what?
Yeah, I'm all over social media. W.
Right.
Michael Su is my full name. The website is thecfoclub.co. If there's anything, if you don't,
TheCFOclub.co. Got it.
yeah, thecfoclub.co. And if there's anything, right, like sure, there's a boot camp, there's YouTube, there's all that. But if there's anything, I think right now, the things that we're doing that's got the highest value content is our newsletter. We send out our newsletter once a month. It's real successes from our students, from our club members. It's real successes from Deep Sky. It's real testimonials. It's real actionable step, real tools, and it's free. So sign up to that. It's once a month. It's a 3-minute read because I'm a hard believer on just learning and then executing. So it's not a 15-minute read or an hour webinar. It's a 3-minute read. That's going to be the smallest input from you, but the maximum output.
And ultimately, like we said, you're part of a network. Um,
Yeah.
CAS, really is, guys, we said not for everyone out there, but
Mhm.
if you're thinking about it and you see the signs where you could potentially have a CAS practice, or you're just kind of getting going with this idea. Um, it's always a good, and this is just from me personally, from what I see, I'm an independent. People know me, kind of more as, an observer, quasi advisor, in the profession. From my view, if you are getting started on that path, you need a network. You need other like-minded individuals and folks who maybe have been doing it a bit longer or maybe similarly struggling. This is, one of the great things about live events coming back is that you can come together physically and be in a room with folks who are, on a same or similar path, or maybe even a few steps further down. So, Michael, thank
Yeah.
you so
Yeah.
much for taking the time. I wish you much success with CFO Club. And, for all of you out there just getting started with CAS and you still have a lot of questions, it never hurts. It's okay to not know exactly what you're doing.
Absolutely.
It's totally okay because there are networks like CFO Club and others that can get you right. Michael, thank you so much for your
There's
time.
always someone
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
Always
Thank you.
someone there. Thank you.